just before you spoke, that thing just cut off. Yo, lateness is greatness. Listen, welcome back. Another preview. Obviously, the preview gang in the building. Mayowa from Threesixtytv. How you doing, bro? Welcome.
I'm Gucci. What are you man saying? Obviously, we're in good form, so I got the apparel out.
Is that you? Yeah. Who is that? Hold on. On the jumper.
That's big drugs, man.
Okay, I'm blind in it, so that's why I was just
check out my boys' thing still.
That looks dope in the cut. Do you know what I'm saying? My questions up there. Do you know what I'm saying? Has to be done. Yeah, that powerhouse. This team.
Sam came wearing PSG, because of Mbappe. Imagine.
That's the future.
And Sam, bro, Football Daily. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm buzzing. I was gonna say at the beginning, you should introduce Mayowa as a how do we even say it? Nominee flipping list. He just is getting voted for everything these days, man. I'm proud.
No, I appreciate that, my bro, man.
Big things are going on in the building, and like I said, nominees. We've got big documentaries coming out. But we're gonna get into all of that at the end, so make sure that you people are locked in, like I said, because it's not no normal plug. We've got big boy settings at the end of this thing that you guys need to listen up for. But let's get straight into the game, because we're heading to St. Mary's. You know what I'm saying? It's another big game. Every game is a big game. Do you know what I mean? Someone just said in the comments, big up to the chat. Surprised you haven't changed the new shirt. I think the last time you guys saw a stream, I don't think this was up, but I think I changed it just before I went on to Lewis's. So let's be real, haven't really used it on this channel yet. So let's just allow it, because I'm running out of shirts otherwise if I don't start being coy with it. Big up PP Productions, big up Mango Girl, big up Jared, big up Hudson the Doices, all you guys in there. So big up yourself. But listen, absolute big game. Okay, I keep saying it. No matter what the opposition is, every single fixture that we have upcoming is a big one. We need to win all of our games. We know how it is when it comes to solidifying. Now we're in the top 4. We shouldn't get comfortable and get cozy and think that now we can just do whatever. We need to, not like last season, we need to really push on now and try and see if we can keep climbing the table. I saw Timo Werner's quote saying, it's great that we're in the top 4. Everything's working out well for the team. Now let's see if we can push the second, because second is reachable with this team. Everybody in that pack is quite close together. I'm going to get up the league table soon, but just scratching the surface before we get into the depths of it, as we usually do. Just how confident are you guys going into this game? Obviously, when you prepare for a game like this, you have to have Atletico in mind, I guess, one eye on it. But do you guys just go into this game just like, no, bun Atletico, just straight in with this game? How are you feeling? Start with you, Mal.
For me, this is you use the term big game, and every game's a big game, but these ones are what I call, like, Atletico is a big game. This is what I call an important game, because it's the 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday, and we all know that kickoff can be very bogus. I don't know why.
There's something about it,
Listen, man, them are getting to the match that like it's Sunday League, like 10 minutes before, and then everyone's like deviled. I don't know what it is, but it's a sticky fixture. And of course, have they lost 6 on the bounce, or is it 5? I think it's 6 now, 6 or 7.
I think it's 6.
They've lost a lot of games on the bounce, and suddenly that has to change. And prehistorically, we have been like a make-a-wish sort of foundation team, where we go to teams that are not informed, and then we go, you know what, you can take a little draw from us, and it kind of bites us in the back. So it's a game where, very similar to the Newcastle game, and kind of what we were all asking for in the last preview. Get the job done in the 45 minutes. Make sure that you can get the 2-0 lead going into half time, and then if you need to take people off to rest them, etc., you can do that. But get that principal win, and then know that, okay, listen, we're going to Atletico, and the second half we don't need to exert as much energy, because these guys will come out for it. But if we hit them early, they'll know that, okay, no, that's another L. We'll fight for another day. So that's the sort of thinking I'm going into it. Get the job done early and move on to that big game coming up.
How do you feel, Sam? Because Southampton on a run of 6 defeats in a row, and I saw something in the comments. I saw 2 comments. Obviously, Tomori will get onto that as well. On top of that, someone said lateness may be greatness, but punctuality is reality. Fair play. I like that.
That's a lyric. He's been thinking about that one.
Yeah, you're a crafty guy. We might have to DM you whenever we need Instagram captions from. You're a crafty guy.
That's a lyric.
But Southampton are on the run of 6 defeats in a row. Like, and you know what this means? Yeah, this either means that they're getting piped, or this means Robin Hood FC returns, Charity FC. Do you know what I'm saying? Here's a couple points. You know them rice grains under the door type vibes. Do you know what I mean? Here you go. Little crumb Please, sir, can I have some more? Do you know what I'm saying? That kind of crap. How are you feeling, bro?
You know what it is, yeah? Like Mayowa said, yeah, it's a bit of a sticky one because you can go into this game and see those stats and think, yeah, you know what? We're just going to walk away with the 3 points. And that's what I don't want us to do in it, because we've been in that situation before. And then we've just been shell-shocked at the fact that they've come out guns blazing. And also, I think in their last game, they lost to Newcastle, right, when they had 10 men.
Yeah. Well, that was a propaganda for them.
Yeah, but I think Southampton in that game, they actually wasn't that bad. Like Danny Ings missed a few chances that they could have scored. They also had that goal ruled out, the close one, the offside one that was close, and they could have changed their fortunes. Do you get what I'm saying? They're not playing terribly bad. They've got a few players like Danny Ings, Ward-Prowse, give him a free kick around the box is basically a penalty, and like a few players where it's like, you know what, they can cause us issues. So I'm just hoping we go into it thinking this is to keep that energy going into Atletico in it, because that's the big game. That's the big game that everyone is really like. Obviously, we're judging Tuchel, but that's the game where we're like, this is either our guy or we're still, 75%. Do you get what I'm saying?
Do you know what it is as well? Is that I feel like, and I put it in the title, I feel like all these games building up to this big Atletico game, they've been the foundation, the rock for the Atletico game. It's like we came into it, we had some favourable fixtures. Of course, Tottenham is sandwiched in there as well, but they feel like they are the opportunities and the tests and everything that we need to work on to get to that Atletico game. And I feel like this is the final foundation. And I spoke to Eunice and Miz on the All You Can Eat Chelsea show yesterday, and they felt like not only should we be trying to win this game, but even taking Southampton's recent record out of it, we should be actually trying to convincingly win this game. They feel, because we've had like nearly a whole week to prepare. So fatigue shouldn't really be an issue. Monday to Saturday is quite a good amount of time these days for a fixture. And on top of that as well, they've had quite a few weeks to work under Tuchel. They've been breaking low blocks. I don't know how Southampton are going to approach this game, because usually they're a little bit more attacking minded.
Adventurous, yeah,
a bit more adventurous, and they're a team that will adventure out of their own half a bit more. But when you see the record that they have, you think to yourself, well, maybe they might just set up to defend. But I don't think it's in their manager's characteristics and fundamentals values to do that, so he probably won't. But I'm looking at their team here that lost at home to Wolves, and it's like McCarthy, Walker-Peters, Bertrand, Ward-Prowse is obviously a massive danger man. He's their captain, I believe, as well. Ings, Redmond, Armstrong, like
Romeo as well. Romeo's going to come back with
Romeo's they've missed him. Like he is he's like complementary to what Ward-Prowse. So Ward-Prowse is allowed to kind of, I wouldn't say dictate the play, but he's the enabler of what they do, and he kind of shuts down everything. He hardly gets like a booked for it as well. He really does like the dirty stuff that really goes on scene. But what's really impressive about them is they have what I call like these nippy forwards, and they can be really like, I call them Achilles heel forwards.
Yeah.
Like, if they break in, it's a long day. Like we haven't seen much of Obafemi, but Ings is like that. Redmond, if he's playing like, is like that. Che Adams, they're all sort of like, and then you lose them, and then they might miss two, but if they get the third opportunity, they'll score. So that's what we have to be careful of, especially when we have three at the back. If you get one of these sort of strikers that is feeling himself and kind of finds the pockets, it can become a bit long. But also, what you're mentioning, Matisse, what it kind of boils down to me is, you said that phrase, and I keep laughing because when you said it in terms of the forwards need to eat. We've been seeing like the nutrition plan is getting better. Like the forwards are starting to like, the nutrients are there. Like Werner's like, he's eating.
He's hungry. He's hungry.
He's having formula milk now. Now we need to move into solids. Like that sort of like we're getting to the place now where like this is a game where they can proper eat. Like if everything goes well, you get where I'm coming from, didn't it? Like,
beautiful analogy.
We need to see like that progression now. Like you said. I feel like these fixtures, and I'm not comparing to City in any way, shape, or form, but what I've realized City did well this year was they had a slow start, but it was kind of letting them put the foundation in place. You know what? We're going to be focused on defense. We're going to get everyone used to it, and we're going to move forward. Since Tuchel's come in, we've essentially had a preseason where we've had very decent fixtures that can go our way. We know the big fixtures are coming up, and we know that our new objective now is finish safely within the top four. We can't win the league. We can win some trophies. But we know what our objectives are. So let's get through these games. And then now that we've got through this will be like the last preseason game. the last one, and then that's it. Like the season starts. 2 games against Atletico, Leeds coming up, United, all of these teams. How can we perform now? So after this game, or in fact, this game and the games going forward is the real mark of it. Can you beat opposition that are poor, and can you beat opposition now? So basically see what we do.
And then after that is Manchester United. So this is our final Premier League game where it's like, okay, cool. You've got your preseason. Like you said, that's a really good way to look at it. Is just look at it as this has been our preseason. It's a very serious, competitive preseason, but it's been our preseason under Tuchel. And now you've got Atletico, Manchester United. Sorry, those are like your opening games of the season where it's like, okay, this is. I keep calling it serious season because, like I said, there are serious objectives, money on the line. We've gone through this week about Erling Haaland. You know, great goal scorer, great performance in the midweek in the Champions League. If we want to obtain a player like that, we have to finish in the Champions League places. The whole point that he might be leaving Dortmund is because they're not potentially going to finish in the Champions League. We can't afford to be like, yo, it's good to see you, bro. I know you're leaving the team that just finished outside the top 4. We're also doing the same thing as them, but come to us. It doesn't work like that. Do you know what I mean? This is a guy who is wanted by everyone and anyone. So just for our own ambitions for next season, it's important that we build a foundation this season so we can kick on next season. There's a couple of things I want to address as well before we get to the lineup that we always do and explain who we're going to play and everything like that. There's been 2 little things in the media. Someone's just reminded me there. Big up Slim Reaper. I'm trying to watch 2 of your videos at once, one on the TV, one on the phone. That grind, big up, man. Honestly, a big up. Man. That is brilliant. That is brilliant to hear. It's a numb feeling from that, and someone even thinks to even do that with me. So thank you so much. There was the Tomori thing, which is not really game related, but it was a very interesting quote. Just to touch on it for 5 minutes, because a few of the chat want us to give our opinions. Tomori came out and said that he obviously, he got frozen out. Quite evidently, he was like 5th choice centre back. He wasn't even playing against Krasnodar, and then he obviously made the move to Milan. And he was saying that he went to Lampard and he was asking him, how do I get into this team? How can I, be involved? What do I need to do? And Lampard just said, apparently, according to Tomori, one side of the story, train harder. And that was about it. And it was like, again, a very distant, cold vibe. I mean, what do you make of that? And obviously, more making it relevant news as well. Tuchel, do you think Tuchel maybe will, I'm not saying learn from that kind of stuff because he's more experienced and he probably he might not even do that kind of stuff, but do you feel like do you have the same worries with Tuchel? Do you think he'll be able to handle the big squad like that? Obviously the honeymoon period, but just long term, do you think we won't have those similar incidences? We'll start with you, Mayo.
With the Tomori thing, the reason why I find it interesting, in fact, even if we call it back, when we look at Lampard's tenure and we look at some of the aggravations that Chelsea fans had, it was kind of over the treatment of individuals like Tomori and Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi, because it was like, well, we know that this guy's got good ability. Some fans may go 100% with it, but even if you stay 50% with it, he can offer something to this team if he's afforded an opportunity. And fans felt he wasn't afforded an opportunity. The Tomori one was, you've just frozen this guy out and he hasn't actually performed badly. I remember it started with sort of like he's injured, but he wasn't injured. And then it became a thing where we didn't see him. And the reason why it's interesting is when you look at Derby, Tomori was his player of the season at Derby. So they obviously and evidently had a good relationship. And then Mount thrived. Tomori was doing well initially. Like he had those great moments, the banger against, I can't remember who it was. Was it Wolves maybe? Wolves, yeah. Wolves, the game against Ajax. And then if you then look at it, he's then frozen out. And it's like, for me, what my personal opinion of it, I don't have any proof, of course, but when I looked at it, I thought it was because someone just rent something here, and I feel similar. If you freeze out as a young manager who hasn't got a lot of clout apart from playing, if you freeze out the bigger heads in the changing room, it can be detrimental. But it's very easy to tell a youngster, oh, go and train hard. It's very different to tell a Rudiger, someone who's like international proven and stuff like that, oh, go and train hard or do something. Because they're going to be like, bro, I'm not having that from you. I'll just leave. Whereas someone that loves the club, someone that's coming through the system, he's naturally going to be like, bro, I look up to you. Like I used to watch you train and everything. I'm going to do that. So I feel that might be a heavy weight of what happened. But fair play for him to go on loan and performing. In terms of the Tuchel element of the question now, That's a very interesting one because it was one of my worries before he actually joined us. Because if you look at his career, he has had moments where he's had odd moments with players. Thiago Silva came out and said something about him before. I remember the Dortmund bombing incident of the coach. A lot of the players said that we didn't even feel like he cared, like we were alienated after it. We were kind of pushed out of the squad. Like he was saying, "Are you scared to play football?" Of course, we don't have to go into it. But the whole incident with Demba Ba in with Istanbul, Shikshare and everything, in terms of how his players spoke about the incident and how their players spoke about the incident. You don't always know a person based on their interviews and the press conferences. So we'll just have to hope that he's able to galvanize a squad, because you need all the players in your squad. Let's be real. Like, you don't just need the 11, you need every single player. So we have to hope that he doesn't have that. But the realism of the situation is managers fall out with players all the time. Like, even if they don't fall out, certain players don't play games in the managers because, you know what, I prefer this guy. So we have to be prepared for that eventually.
Yeah, and that happens under all the top managers, all the top coaches. So I sympathise with Lampard more on this one. I saw I Test Merchant put in block caps. We just read out the headline, bro. Relax. You know what I'm saying? We have to address it and then we'll give our opinion. So don't jump the gun. But in terms of Lampard, 5 centre-backs to deal with and 3 left-backs, that is, for any manager, no matter how experienced you are, and especially when they're all seniors as well, like, that is nearly unheard of to have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? There's usually a youngster in there, even like a Billy Gilmore level, where you haven't made enough first team appearances to really demand to play games. You want to, but you can't really demand it. Tomori's been playing senior football for 2-3 years. So it's a difficult one where it's nearly impossible for him to manage that situation of 3 left backs, 5 centre backs, and the same with Tuchel. Don't be surprised. I hope it doesn't happen, but don't be surprised if, maybe in 6-7 games time, we do have more players that are unrest and they're starting to be more news in the headlines, because it's the amount of players we have in this squad is not normal. Sam, what do you make of it? And even just to extend as well, I guess, and to bring up a new point, what do you make of Tomori's move to AC Milan? And do you, like, a lot of people are worried that he won't come back because obviously there's an option to buy. Do you think, how strong do you think we got a case in that one?
Now, first of all, I was going to say what you said in terms of the job being really big for Lampard. Like, he had a difficult job in the first place. The amount of players that he had to have to integrate into the first team, and then the players that had kind of done the same thing for him last season. Like, obviously, he wanted to play Tomori. He would love to start Tammy every game. Would love to. Obviously, we saw Mount starting every game, but there were a lot of players. Even Billy Gilmore, you probably wanted to give him more games as well. But we brought in new players. We saw that we're trying to go in a new direction. And I just think Lampard kind of fell victim to us changing direction. And to be fair, you can say that he could have been more honest with Tomori and a few of the other players. But at the same time, it was clear he wanted to get rid of Rudiger. It was clear that they wanted Tomori to go out on loan at the beginning of the season, and he didn't go out on loan. So whose fault is that, really? If he had gone out earlier, would he have been in that situation? And then if you're telling him to work hard, that's obviously what he's going to tell you to do, because if you're constantly working hard and then someone gets injured, you might get an opportunity in the team. And then, like, so when everyone was talking about the Tomori situation, I kind of saw Lampard's side more of it. Like, you have 4 other centre backs that are older, that are more experienced, and that you're probably told by the board to say you have to play these guys in this order. They're probably getting onto you for not playing Rudiger enough because you're decreasing his value. Same as Christensen. Do you get what I'm saying? So all of these things like add up. So I don't really blame Lampard for that in that situation. Maybe he could have been a bit more honest with Tomori and said, I did ask you to go out on loan and you didn't, so it's going to be difficult for you in regardless. In terms of Tuchel, I'm hoping he's not going to be the same, but like we said, he's gonna have a bloated squad. People are going to get upset. He seems a bit stern as well. So if you're not in his plans, he might just tell you straight. But my hope is that he's just going to be honest with what the player needs to do to get into a position to kind of get into the first team. If not, then we'll probably see the same situation. We're already seeing it with Ziyech and a lot of the speculation around him. And in terms of Tomori, if he comes back, like even him playing in Milan, I've seen a few of the highlights. I've watched some of his games. Like, he's had good games. He's had decent games. He's made some mistakes, like any young centre back would. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't think that he won't come back to Chelsea, because there's always going to be that connection in a sense. And also with COVID and the way the finances are working around the bigger clubs, they've got players that have been at Milan before him that are his age as well. So unless he does something miraculous, like every single game, I don't see them buying him. Obviously, it does look odd, like them putting that cheap quote on him. Option to buy, but I don't even think that that's cheap for Milan. Do you get what I'm saying? I think that these clubs are really going to like suffer in the summer financially. So yeah, man, I wouldn't worry too much about Tomori, and I hope that like he seems quite positive. I watched an interview with him today, and he seems quite positive with being out on loan, learning his craft in a league that is a bit more defensive. You have to be a bit more like tactically astute in that. So yeah, man, I hope he does well, and I think he will come back.
Yeah. Tuchel spoke on it today, and he just said he didn't have too many minutes to speak about Tomori. It's a player of high potential.
One thing Tomori also said in the interview that I watched, that he hasn't spoke to Tuchel yet. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they haven't had a conversation. So in reality, some fans might look at that negatively, but the reality is he's got a big job in front of him. He probably hasn't got the time to shout every player out on loan from Chelsea, because with Chelsea, we've got a lot of people out on loan in it. So in the summer, he'll probably send a call or message or email. But as for now, just keep doing what you're doing. And after the season's over, we'll review how you did in the AC, and then we'll have that conversation.
100%.
Yeah. I think he'll be on his radar. Like obviously, like your loans manager will be feeding in and saying, okay, these guys are performing well and everything. But
I think there's a WhatsApp group chat, or something.
Yeah. There's no WhatsApp group chat, and then like there's like loan managers. Like Lescott is the loan manager for City. Like some former players actually do the role. But, for Tomori, all Tomori has to worry about now is himself playing and growing as an individual. And you know what? I actually respect the fact that he did go on loan, because of course, like you mentioned, Sam, he had the option and he said, no, I wanted to fight for a place. Of course, that didn't materialize. But now you've gone to a place which it's got prestige. You're in a title race. They're going to depend on you as well. And most importantly, it's a very young squad with kind of two significant elder players in Ibrahimovic and Mandzukic. But I think it's the youngest squad. They've got the youngest squad in the top 5 European teams, the average age of 25. So it's going to be a good moment where he can kind of take this mantle of responsibility and try and help them. And at the same time, push his value up potentially, or just sort of, if there's other suitors looking, actually showcase that, you know what, I'm a big baller. It's kind of what the stuff that the Loftus Cheeks and those guys should have done, instead of waiting for so long and then just getting a bit of game time and then eventually going on loan anyway. So we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the West Ham one was a tricky one for him, because West Ham didn't really want to guarantee him game time as well, so he wasn't too sure. But it's good to see him go out there now and obviously get the game time, because that's the most important thing at this age as well, is that, yes, the coaching as well. We've seen that with Foden, Pep, the coaching's got to be right, but also you want to see some sort of game time as well. And he was like literally fifth choice. He wasn't getting any. Just some quotes from the press conference as well, like team news before we go into our feeling very good with the training. And if things go well, he'll be in the squad. So that's very much a 50-50. Thiago's not ready for the game. That's a big one. Some calf issues with Pulisic. Nothing big, just tight. And then Kai Havertz can join us for Southampton. So, I mean, Thiago Silva anyway, I would not have played him in this game regardless. I would have just saved him for Atletico. Even if he was touch and go, I would have just left it and said leave him, because Atletico is a huge game. We absolutely have to have that caliber of defender back for Atletico Madrid. So I would just put him in bubble wrap and let him go to Atletico anyway, which is what I was saying yesterday on my last stream. Pulisic, this guy, his issues are just ongoing all the time. Do you know what I mean? I really do worry about him. And I guess when we get into the selection, we'll talk a bit more in depth about Pulisic and just how worried are we about his injury concerns. And obviously he's not in the best form, but we all know the quality with the player. But then if you're saying that this is a guy, because I think I saw something earlier where he's missed like maybe just under 50% of our games since he's joined Chelsea or something. Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, he's missed more games for Chelsea than Eden Hazard missed in his whole time. So I'm looking at Pulisic and I'm like, there's a quality player there. Of course, we've seen it, but you're going to be inconsistent as a youngster anyway, regardless of injuries. And then on top of that, you're getting injured for nearly half the games. Value for money wise, we need to have that discussion. Do you know what I mean? At some point, so it's getting a bit hairy there. And then obviously Kai Havertz is an interesting one, because I was hoping that he'd be available for a special position, and now it seems that he will be. So we'll get into that as well. Big up to the chat as well. Guys, let me know what starting 11 you go with as well when we get into it. That's going to be very interesting to see. There's not really too much more news related before the game in terms of in terms of anything else. If I just quickly go through the table before I get into the lineup as well to catch you guys in the stream up. Obviously, Chelsea have the second best form in the league at the moment. That's quite incredible from where we've come. 13 points in 15 in the last 5 games, 4 wins, 1 draw. That really is a good run. You know what I'm saying? We're right up there now. 42 points, level with West Ham. I think
that sounds hilarious.
West Ham are even there, yeah. It's nuts. Do you know what I mean?
They're doing really well, though. They're actually doing
really well.
They are doing very well. I have to give them credit, but it is mad to even think about. Liverpool are 2 points behind West Ham in 6th. Everton have 1 game in hand, but they're like 5 points behind us now. So you can start to, with the games in hand now, it's starting to get to a point where even if teams win their games in hand, we're still where we are. So that's cool. And then obviously we're actually 4 points behind Leicester and Man United, who are in 3rd and 2nd. So we need to close that gap. And say if we win this game, and we don't know what's going to happen with Man United, and I don't like to look at other results too much because it is always in our hands. But if we can get this win, and then we go into that Man United game knowing that, if we win, we're in touching distance of being 2nd. That's how big this is. So we're really getting to the thick of things now. But going to the lineup, we'll start with the goalkeeper. Obviously, usually it's not a discussion. Do you know what I mean? But true say, Kepa's been playing the last 2 games. I don't really feel like I would start him in this game. I feel like the last one when he played against Newcastle, and obviously we as a group, that game, we was just like, yeah, Mendy, whatever. Like, it's just a cup game. He's played against Barnsley, move on. Then starts against Newcastle. I'm like, what? I'm like, what is going on? But then I deeped it and I was like, do you know what? I feel like Marina's had a say in this. I feel like she's so 100%. Stubborn. Yeah. What do you guys think on that? Because Sam, I'll start with you. Yeah, I feel like Marina definitely got involved there.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it's one of them ones where like they might have been prepping for this. Like this moment to say, okay, cool, you're gonna have to throw him in at some point because we need his value is going down as we speak. Like, you get what I'm saying? So Newcastle was a kind of safe game to throw him in. Tuchel's already come out and said that Mendy's still number 1. So I don't think Tuchel will make that mistake and play him in like highly important games. And I think Southampton is kind of important now. So I do think that Kepa was all right in the 2 games, but Mendy has to play. Let him get a like warm for the Atletico Madrid game in it, because he's playing in that game. And if if she tries to run something mad in that game, then she's gonna see a lot of people just onto her for no reason in it. So I'm hoping Tuchel plays Mendy.
True say, if she makes Tuchel play Kepa against Atletico, she's on a sabotage thing. You know what I mean? That's now like, oh well, I didn't really want Tuchel. Like, Poch was my first choice, so I'm gonna say. Do you know what I mean? That's just a straight up sabotage. I did get it because you need to keep him involved somewhat to keep him interested and get the value up. And if you're going to sacrifice him for a game, you're going to do it before. You're going to do it Newcastle, not Atletico, not Man United, not. Do you know what I mean? Mayowa, what did you make of it? And obviously, who would you start with as well?
No, I heard the fury behind it, like, and it does make sense. The truth is, I honestly don't know. There's a good chance they could have said, you know what, if we want to sell this guy in summer and he's only played, let me check my notes, 3 league games, we're not going to be able to move him for anything. But I feel like I mentioned before that I feel like he's auditing the squad. So it's only right that if Kepa gets 2 games, he's had 2 examples to showcase what he's about. So, and again, like I mentioned, because it feels like a preseason, and then obviously we finish the season, then we go into an actual preseason, he could potentially just been like, you know what, listen, Mendy's my number 1, but here's an opportunity for you to showcase that, you know what, you can still be here, you can still challenge that number 1. Because if we go back to originally, when we looked at Mendy, the whole conversation was Mendy may not come in as the number 1. It might be that these guys are competing for it. And then I think Kepa had another clang and was like, no, Mendy is the guy. And then Mendy had all the clean sheets and was like, yeah. So, I feel it could have just been like, you know what? Listen, I know you've had a big transfer here. I know you're young. Listen, I'm a new guy. I don't know much about you. These men said that you're whack, but show me something. Let's see if we can kind of, work towards something in the future. So it could have been that. But that being said, Sam's hit the nail on the head. We've got Atletico come in. You want your back 4, back 5 unit with the goalkeeper involved. So back 6, back 5 all together. You want them to have some sort of unity and familiarity with each other. So I would start Mendy because Mendy's most likely going to be playing all of these games. And even though we've had easy opposition, this is good opposition again to sort of just get used to the certain calls, the certain orders, the communication with that back line. So I would start him again.
Yeah, and I fully expect him to come back as well. I think after I heard Tuchel say no, Mendy is my number one, then cool. He's made it clear now, so it's not like he's deciding and he's like giving Mendy a run of games. Now I'm going to give Kepa. And really, Mendy did get his run of games anyway, even if he was doing that. And we've been keeping clean sheets, so this is not a team that's been conceding goals. I think the only goal we've conceded is the Rudiger one. That's the only one, isn't it? Still, even to this day. So.
That irks me. But at the same time, that's one thing that I don't like about Mendy. He has that moment. Yeah, obviously that situation was Rudiger's fault in it. But I've seen too many times of him just like he just rushes out, like he just does something, and you're like, bro, just stay there, just stay there. You're fine on your line, like you're a tall keeper, so you'll be all right. Like because if he had stayed on his line and not try to rush out when Rudiger had the ball, we wouldn't have conceded that goal. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think something like that happened again when he conceded a pen against, I can't remember what team it is, but he clattered someone.
Liverpool.
And he just came,
Liverpool.
And he just clattered him for no reason. It's just like, bro, come on, bro, you didn't need to come out there. And he has that moment where he can, switch into it. But all round out, Mendy.
I feel like just to finish up on that as well, and just to quick respond to this chat. Yeah, we did speak about Tomori, bro. So you'd have to rewind a bit and you catch that part as well. I feel like when Mendy it was so confident, he wanted to do more, and then he started coming out. Yeah. When he was in a bad run, he had a run of games where he came out of the box quite a bit, like outside of his zone. I would say his actual zone, and he started trying to get involved and like, do you know what I mean? When you're confident, you just start bopping about, and your shoulders are moving, and you just want to be everywhere. Do you know what I mean? You're on cloud nine, and that's really what happened. And it was just like, yo, just settle down, get calm down now, rein it back in, just back to the basics, and let's keep it clean and calm. So since then,
living his dream, man. Mendy's actually living his dream. Like if you look at his career, him being at Chelsea, like that's against all odds. And I feel like word. He's kind of like, you know what? Like I have to embrace it. Like I have to be a modern goalkeeper and everything. Like I really always had against Mendy, and it's because not against him, but I always felt like his save motion was very like jaggedy and janky. Like some goalkeepers when they palm it away, it kind of looks like calm and considered. His was very like brash. There was a lot of because the ball can go anywhere. Like I've seen him sometimes, like he'll come and punch out the ball, and he'll punch it well, but it's not gone to where I would have expected the punch to go to. Like So but that's just every goalkeeper has their little clink that is a bit of a eye opener. So but yeah, I would start Mendy nevertheless.
His story's nuts, like you said, and I'm just, do you know what it is? Yeah, I'm just so happy for him. Like he's the kind of guy where you just want him to do well in life. Do you know what I mean? Where being unemployed, losing your agent, all of these things, and then you rise back up to the top. It's a story. It really is like a proper fairy tale for him. So big him up, and he's been doing a few Cruyff turns recently, and he's been doing well. So do you know what I'm saying? As long as Ings doesn't nap him, what you spoke about earlier with them nippy forwards. I don't want to see anything wild. Hopefully.
Don't even jinx it. I'm seeing it now. Don't jinx that, man.
Danny Ings. Danny Ings.
Just coming, hitting off the back of his heel and that, and then going into the net, and Mendy's just there looking confused.
What's that?
Yeah, what happened?
There's that meme, where the guy's sleeping and then he wakes up and it's like, and there's always a caption like, "It's 4. It's Danny Ings. 4 against Chelsea."
I think it's Chris Brown, the one.
Nah, we're not trying to see any of that. Moving forward, I'm assuming and expecting we're going to keep the back three. I'd be shocked if we didn't. There's no need to change it. I would go with, Silva's out, so I'd probably stick to the same back three we've been going with anyway, which is Rudiger, Christensen, Aspie. To be fair, I've been actually very impressed with Christensen. He's really, he wasn't great against Barnsley, a couple of moments where we're looking. On the whole, he's really taken to the responsibility quite well. And I feel like, again, players that are a little bit iffy, like Christensen, where they can be up and down, they're very confidence-based. I believe we spoke about on last week's show as well. Tuchel is like, if you're looking at a pie and you're saying, what does Christensen miss? Tuchel's like completing the pie in terms of the communication and the confidence and the instructions. He is making those players more confident and a little bit more, going out to the pitch and thinking, yeah, I know what I'm doing kind of thing. So he, the communication during the game, that cannot be underestimated for a player. That's vital. They've come out in so many of the interviews and said it post-game. And I feel like for Christensen in particular, I can't imagine, for someone that seems so quiet and timid as well, and just like reserved in terms of his personality, to have someone barking at you might actually be what he needs. So I've been impressed with him. Rudiger starts because his brother's just been playing, innit? You know what I mean? And he's been doing well. There's been a couple moments where he's passed it, and you know what is with Rudiger? He either passes it brilliantly long range, or like there's a simple one, it will just go out of play, and I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah, right.
I was talking to my boy, hold tight production 360, and we were talking about Rudiger, and Rudiger plays like someone has told him that he's a baller. So like he will look up there, then he'll try and ping the ball. He'll do it pass here, and he will start showing like, why didn't you move? Like he plays like the original ball playing centre back. Yeah. Which is, credit to him, because he's not being within himself. But there's a few times when I'm watching the passes, the 5-yard passes are bubbling. Like I'm seeing like an aggressive first touch, and it's like, oh man. But like, you know what? He's building confidence in it. So yeah, I heard that. So you would go with what? Rudiger,
Christensen, and Aspie. Yeah, just because I feel like going into the Atletico game, we need to build the chemistry that you spoke about, and that's kind of partly obviously why Mendy has to come back in as well. Start building that chemistry. Silva hopefully comes into that anyway, but Aspie and Rudiger have been starting anyway, regardless, and Zuma hasn't. So, I mean, I would like Zuma to get more game time, but I understand why he's not. Ball playing centre backs in the back three is what you're looking for, and not that really Rudiger or Aspie are ball playing centre backs, because they're not. It's really only Christensen that has that vibe around him, and even still, I wouldn't say that he's like one of the best.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like Christensen's ball playing is sometimes overrated because he looks good while doing it. But is he Van Dijk level? Is he David Luiz in his prime level? Is he Thiago Silva level? Hell no, he's not. Do you know what I mean? And that, if it's going to be your strength, make it your strength. So I'm not really impressed with anybody's ball playing ability at the back apart from Thiago Silva, if I'm talking about Chelsea levels in the back three. But just for the sheer consistency of it, yeah, I'll keep it as well. What about you, Sam?
I'll keep it as well. But I do want to see Zuma get more game time. I do think that, like, out of all of our centre backs, I rated him the most in it. Like, I know he has a mistake in him where the ball like kind of slips under his touch, like under his foot, because he looks away when the ball's rolling to him, and then someone could be in, and then you're just looking at Zuma like, why have you done that? But same time, I don't know. There's an aggression to him that only, let's say, okay, Aspie does have it, but he's getting older. Rudiger has it as well, but I think Zuma is just a bit more youthful. Yeah. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, and that's always good for me. It reassures me when I'm looking at our backline and Zuma's just hungry to win every ball, and also going forward as well. Like, he's a threat for free kicks, for corners, and we've been missing that in the last few weeks since he hasn't been playing. And I think going into that Atletico game, we're gonna need all the threats that we can get. Yeah. So having a centre back that may not be as great on the ball, but is good defensively, is a threat going forward, might just be something that Tuchel should like look into.
Yeah. Also, just to finalise as well, I've said it before, but I would also like to see Reece James on that right-sided centre-back slot. But again,
that's what I was going to go.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely give us your lowdown on how you feel about that as well. Because for me, I would love to see it, but then Azpilicueta, innit?
So for me, I feel like with that Atleti game coming, I'm in two minds, because I would love to rest him Aspie now and play Reece James there. The only thing is, when you then need to change formation, what happens then is you have Cho, and then you need to move Reece James to right back, and then you'd have to sub him on anyway.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind in this game. It's so funny. In this game, with the way Southampton are, I feel like we should have enough to put them away. We should, realistically, we should.
Yeah.
I would not mind if he said, you know what, Rudiger, have a young rest. I'm going to start Zuma. Azpilicueta, I'm going to start James. Like,
really?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it, because I genuinely feel if you were to do that, then you had like Hudson-Odoi and you had Alonso still as a goal threat, you should still have enough to lock off the game within the first half. Like, especially with the type of forwards, if we look at it realistically, who they're going to come against? They're going to come against Ings and maybe Redmond, who's not a forward, he's a winger playing up top.
Yeah.
between those three, they should be able to lock that down. I feel like Zuma is a competent defender and competent enough to do it. I feel like Reece James, in terms of playing against wingers, he knows what to do and he's good on the recovery as well. And then Christensen would be your ball playing option. And to be fair, Reece James and Zuma may give you a bit more pace in there as well for the recovery forwards. So I wouldn't be mad at seeing those three there.
That's a good shot.
Good shout. There's more goals in that as well.
There is, but you have this right side, which is a bit kind of interesting because you have Reece James and you have Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah.
So it would mean that whoever plays in the midfield is a bit savvy with how they play. But that's how I would play it.
Yeah, no, I do like that as well because there's chemistry between Reece James, Hudson-Odoi, and if Mount starts in the right channel as well, and he likes to occupy those spaces. So you've got the academy boys who, I mean, it's all good having academy boys, but the fact that they're actually similar age groups is the fact that they understand there's a chemistry, there's an understanding of different movements and whatnot. We know that right-sided centre-back is going to step into midfield a lot more. And I can't wait. As much as Rudiger's been solid and been good since Tuchel arrived, I can't wait for a left-footed, left-sided centre-back on that left side, whether it be Mark Gahey or it be David Alaba that we're linked with or whoever, because I want them to be able to step into midfield as well. So we can have the threat from both sides and then we're not so predictable. Where when you pick up the ball from the left-hand side, say Silva's fizzed it to you, because these are very finite details, and this is why Silva stands out ahead of the rest. When you play a pass in the middle of that back three, and someone's saying here, David Luiz, I don't know in terms of your age, but David Luiz, I'm talking about prime David Luiz, not the Arsenal one. Not the Arsenal one. I'm talking about like when he was at Chelsea under Conte in the middle of the back three. He was basically our quarterback, sweeper, defender. He was launched. Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah, before he came to the Premier League, that it wasn't like don't get me wrong, John Terry and these guys did playing out the back and everything, but like David Luiz took it to like
a different level, man. Yeah, he took it to a different level.
Like he took it to a different level. He was so concerned with the ball playing, almost ahead of the actual defending. Sometimes he was the standard. Like people started doing that, and it's funny because people criticized him for doing that, and then they demanded it from their centre backs anyway. So like no, David Luiz was the ball playing centre back.
Yeah. So just, I don't know, like I said, maybe you didn't see him in his prime. And I'm not talking about David Luiz at Arsenal, just what I'm saying, because he's not in his prime anymore. But yeah, if you look back at him when he was in his best, then yeah, he was. But yeah, back on the left foot, I would just love the balance. Like a JT, you know what I mean? When he was at Chelsea, that left footed, able to really pass with his left foot and take it. And the finite details of Silva, when he's playing that middle of the back three, he just passes at a pace, and he also passes it at a player where they don't have to always take, the touch to set themselves and then progress the ball. He passes it into their stride. So when they take their first touch, they're moving into the midfield, and it's a bit more progressive. Do you know what I mean? And those are the finite. Yeah, man. Those are like the very small details of the game where everybody can pass the ball. Everybody's pass accuracy on stats can look good on SofaScore. But how did you pass the ball? Did you pass the ball at a tempo where a man had to take a touch and then he had to set himself, and then we wasted 5-6 seconds, and by that time the opposition shape is back into their fold? Or did you pass the ball at a pace where man can run onto it? Or do you know what I mean? It's like when a midfielder plays a progressive pass in behind to a striker. Everybody can make that pass and get the stat up. But Jorginho versus Fabregas, do you know what I'm saying? That's the levels. Did you put the right weight on the pass for the man to run on into it like Lampard did for Ramirez against Barcelona? Or was it a bit short and did he have to backtrack? So these are the little details. But yeah, man, I think I like what you're saying about Reece James because I want to see him there. And obviously it will be interesting because...
But Tuchel wouldn't do. I just like it sounds great, but Tuchel wouldn't do it, man. He needs that experience. And that's why he plays Aspi. Even in one of his press conferences, he mentioned all the experienced players, and he was like, "This is why they're playing." Because at least he knows what he's gonna get. It's like having a safe pair of hands, like when you're doing like in terms of like anything in it. Like you just know if a mistake happens, it's an anomaly in it. So I don't think we'll see Aspi. He needs to rest. To be honest, because I'm not trying to see them images of João Felix like burning past him and then he's just trying to catch up to him. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, man.
When he came, like apparently, like I remember the thing where Tuchel was like, he was almost amazed that it was Asper. He's like, I've heard so much about you. Like you are, like, you're Dave. So like, he I feel like in terms of Chelsea's loyal servants, he's definitely up there. I don't feel like people talk about enough his influence and everything. So no, if even if he started and then he came off quite early, I would be happy with that as well. But I just feel like in this sort of game, if we know that we can kill the game early, we can sort of maybe flirt with the idea of switching up a little bit.
Yeah, and moving to the wing backs, I'm gonna throw Chilwell in there, and I'm gonna throw Hudson-Odoi in there as well. Just because, again, I want us to be attacking. I've always said this when I go for Hudson-Odoi at right wing back. It's not. Some people have a lot of frustrations about it because obviously, but I'm just looking at A, the amount of depth we have at attacking midfield, and B, where Timo Werner plays best, and C, Reece James at right wing back. I'm still acclimatized into it. You know what I'm saying? I still. And against maybe a defense, against maybe Atletico, then cool. Maybe Reece James right wing back is a different story. It makes more sense. But against Southampton, a team that I've lost 6 games in a row, I'm cool to put Hudson-Odoi and I'm putting in Chilwell. Mainly, again, if we're using the Kepa example, a player that, okay, let's get your confidence up. Let's get you into the team. Let's see what you can do. I feel like Alonso's been good, but he hasn't been throwing in masterclasses like every single game. I don't feel like his last couple of games have been incredible, where he can't come out of the team for a bit. He's probably going to play against Atletico. I think he played, when we went to Atletico last time and we beat them 2-1.
He was hard. I think he was hard in that game.
Batshuayi scored, Bakayoko was involved, Morata. That game,
the good old days.
Yeah, it was Conte.
Bakayoko, what a guy. What a
guy. So Alonso is involved in that. So if Alonso Juju needs to be incorporated to the Atletico game, it makes sense for me. So, and he's got a bit more Champions League experience and whatnot. So he's Spanish, he probably knows about Atletico a little bit, get him involved there. I feel like, that makes sense. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about that. Play Chilwell against Southampton. I feel like give him an opportunity. He should be more than motivated and see if we can get something out of him. Those would be my two guys. What about you, bro?
For me, in terms of what I said I originally wanted, I feel like Chilwell wouldn't work for that. It's too many changes to the back five.
Okay.
So if I went for that, I would be Alonso. But if I went kind of like our steady Eddies and keep it as it is, then it would be the team that we've been playing so far. Either way, I would have Hudson-Odoi playing on that right wing back. But based on that first scenario I gave, with wanting Asby and James, I would keep Alonso in there just because there's a sense of familiarity there. And you can always make that substitution during the game if you want to go 4 at the back. You can bring Chilwell in, which probably suits him almost a bit more with the 4, Reece James one side, and make it a bit more solid.
Yeah. What about you, Sam, bro?
I want Chilwell to get into the side, man. I want him to like solidify his position because we've seen the qualities that he has, but the games where he's not good, he's probably one of the most frustrating players because it's just like, why did you pass it like that? Or why did you not drive? Or why did you give it away? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like with Alonso, I think he is probably in recent years probably one of the best wing backs that has been in the Premier. So it's understanding that Tuchel's playing him, but at the same time, his lack of pace worries me a lot. When players are driving towards him, I'm worried, and I'm just thinking in terms of even Southampton, like the threat that they have out wide. They've got Redmond. They've got Walcott is injured, right?
Walcott's injured, but they'll have Redmond. Redmond will definitely be playing. Do you know it's funny as well? Depending on what side it is, Taki might be playing on that side.
Yeah, he might switch wings.
Oh yeah. So you see what I mean? And they've got energy in their front line, innit? So I'm just thinking in terms of Chilwell would be just a bit better in those situations, innit? Going forward, I think we're gonna have enough attacking threat for us to rest Alonso because he's probably gonna start against Atletico as well. So yeah, man, I'll go Chilwell, Hudson-Odoi. Even though I'm one of those fans that don't really like him wing back, but I get it. Like, it makes sense, and he does get a bit more time to think about what he's going to do when he's playing wing back, as of when he's playing like as a number 10 in it. So yeah, man, them Chilwell and Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, see this comment about he can't play left wing back. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't be able to. I mean,
same.
At Leicester, put it like this. Okay, what do you look from a left wing back? Well, first of all, you need to be very athletic, because you're getting up and down the whole wing. The whole wing is your responsibility. Well, Ben Chilwell was more athletic than Marcos Alonso. He's quicker. He's got better stamina. And so I don't understand that point there. On top of that, at Leicester, he got very far forwards, especially at the back end of last season. He was getting goals. He got a goal for Chelsea at the start of this season as well. Maybe actually against Southampton. Actually, if I check the previous fixtures, I'm pretty sure Chilwell did get a goal at the start of the season against someone. But he is a very athletic fullback. Like the whole reason why Frank Lampard wanted him was for the fact that he could get forward and get up and down, and in transitions he should be able to get back and all these things. So for a player that is very good going forward, his heading aerial duel rate is pretty good as well. I don't really see why he wouldn't be able to play left wing back. Like,
you know what I think it is? I feel like hold tight Cam, obviously attacking fullbacks is great, but attacking fullbacks is slightly different from wing backs. And it's the conversation we had about Reece James, where we said we believe that he can do that, but with wing backs, the element of it is you're the wing. Like I said last week, you're the wing before you're the back. And with Alonso, even though Alonso doesn't play like a winger, Alonso positionally and what he does,
and his decision making in the final third is a lot.
He plays like a traditional, you know, like back in the day, like when you had left midfielder, right midfielder, like traditional sort of like the 4-4-2, and he's there. Like Alonso cheats. Alonso doesn't do no tracking back and Vic. He actually cheats in these positions. Whereas with Chilwell, the way he would probably play that, he wouldn't play like Alonso plays it, and he wouldn't play like a traditional winger. He's sort of like attacking fullback plays from the traditional sort of left back position and bombing forward, which is great. But when you're playing attacking wing back, you're probably 50 yards forward from where you start, and it's about, okay, can I beat my man? Can I show a bit of imagination? Can I change it up a little bit? So I do understand it, but these are things that young players, again, they're quite young, they can learn and they can adapt, and they have the attributes to do it. Like Chilwell is not sort of a get chalk in your boots and whip it in left back. Yeah, he can switch it up. So like, I wouldn't write him off in that position, but I do understand if someone was like, I don't think he can play left wing back.
Yeah. We need more from him in it. I think he's capable of playing there, but a lot of players adapt different to new managers coming in it. So let's hope that he can show his attacking intent like the next time he gets an opportunity, because if he does have a blinder against Southampton, there's literally no reason, like no particular reason why he wouldn't play against Atletico or United. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
I'm just looking. Do you know what? Yeah, I was looking for our result this season against Southampton, and it kept coming up 3-3, and I said to myself, "No way did we do that, fam. No way did we drop points at home to Southampton."
They were better before though. They're having a slump of form, but they
weren't good form. They were like near.
Was it before the West Brom game, or was it after that? It was within that sort of proximity
3-3.
When we were doing stupidness. This was the 3-3. Wait, no, West Brom we were 3-0 down and we came back.
Yeah.
But this was a 3-3 as well. And the reason why I was so confused is because we scored. And I remember Werner scored in this game. I was like, I don't remember us dropping points here, but we did.
That's the one where he dinked it over, right? And then
dinked it over, headed in. Yeah. It's mad. So those are the wing backs, and then midfield. A lot of questions people are asking: should Kante come back? I've just seen Ings score here. Yeah, he went around the goalkeeper. Yo, let me not even do that, fam. Flashbacks. For this preview, let me not do that, fam. Positive thinking. The midfield duo. People are asking, can Kante come back into the team? I personally think Kante is going to be needed more against Atletico Madrid than this game. So I would actually leave out Kante for this game in the mindset that he could probably come into the team against Atletico potentially to deal with Felix. And it's a big European game. He's a big European player. Do you know what I mean? And stick with Jorginho and Kova. That's what I would go with. What about you, bro?
I'll go with the same.
You're right. The only concern I have with that though is Kante's not been playing loads of games. And like if you're going to go into a full night against Champions League, you kind of need that sort of rhythm in there. So it would be a situation where, again, if we can lock off the game as we want to, and then we can set up almost as we would set up against Atletico, because of course the question of Kante is, if Kante comes in, is it a double pivot? Is it him by himself and 2 8s? What are we going to do? So that question, for me, in my head, from what I'm seeing, it looks as if you would take Jorginho out. You lose that sort of DLP presence. You get Kante, who's going to essentially sniff everything out. And then you get Kovacic, who is being more intent with his sort of play now. Like, he's beating the press all the time. He's dribbling. But it seems to be a bit more intent. He's moving quick with the passes. I'm seeing him get shots off, even though the shots are just like he spoons it. I'm seeing a bit more attacking intent. So it feels like if Kante was the player where his partner wouldn't be Jorginho, it would be Kovacic. Can we get to where we need to be in the game and then bring Jorginho off and then bring Kante on?
And you know what? This is a really good super chat from iTest Merchant. What if Raf decides to go over mid-press like Barnsley? Barnsley's, we spoke about it last week. Barnsley's that one team that actually pressed, like proper tried to press us. And when you try to proper press us, it gets sticky. And I feel like now, Southampton, I wouldn't even be surprised if he did that. I think it'd be stupid not to. Do you know what I mean? If anything, their team's set up for that. We spoke about Ings, Redmond, they're quick players. They're a naturally attacking pressing team anyway under that manager. I think that they'll try and press us. And if I'm thinking about who's going to be able to defeat the press and who's got the best chemistry and understanding to bypass a press, it's Jorginho and Kovacic. Do you know what I mean? That chemistry, that togetherness. So I wouldn't break that up for this game in particular. How Atletico will approach us, I don't know, man. It's very difficult, but obviously we'll get to that for the next time. But for this one in particular, yeah, I think I'll go with those two for the press. And Sam, you seem to agree, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if they do actually press us, and also I don't want to go into the Atletico Madrid game too much, but I think Tuchel's going to switch it up a little bit. I think we're going to see something like not completely different, but like the formation adjust a bit, because I think that he's going to start with Kante and he's going to have to do something different to start Kante. But in terms of this game, I wouldn't even be surprised if he gave Billy like some minutes. If they're really trying to be a bit cautious with the game before Atletico and United, I wouldn't be surprised with him starting Billy, because Billy's competent on the ball. He's a bit more comfortable than Kante on the ball in like high press situations as well. So I think that would be a big shout, but I wouldn't be like completely shocked if I saw that. But knowing Tuchel, I don't even know him too tough, to be fair. I don't
really know you, bro. I don't really know you. You know when one of them guys come to you on the street and they're trying to spud you, I'm like, I don't really know you.
I don't even know you like that. But I'm getting to know this. But I think he'll keep it. I think he'll keep it the same. And I think if we get an early goal, that Southampton press will switch up, man, because they don't want to get embarrassed again, man. They've been holding goals for a few weeks now, man.
That press as well is their back four at the moment is a bit dire. I mean, like what they got, Walker's Peters, who's been really well for them, is out. Benderick has been doing some jabroni stuff. Vestergaard is the other one. Vestergaard started the season really well, and then he started doing some jabroni stuff as well.
They were all saying Van Dijk and that with Vestergaard.
Real talk. So now they could have a repeat of what happened in the first game where Timo exposed that. That's when he was doing the roadrunner stuff, innit? Like, if they want to press, that could invite sort of the opportunity for us to just bop through it, or the Jorginho one pass through. So I agree with you, man. I would go with that middle, and then I would try and implement as soon as possible how we would operate Ante for that sort of game in the second half. If we lock on the first half quick, of course.
Yeah, Spurs were the other team in the second half when they tried to press us as well. It wasn't as organised. I don't think Jose Mourinho really organised his presses.
He just said, go in and do something.
His top priority, you know what I mean? When you go to the Jose Mourinho agenda, it's not really like, all right, first thing we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to organise a press. Do you know what I mean? That's not, don't scream Jose Mourinho, but they tried. And to be honest, it was a bit of a struggle for the first 10. Kante, Jorginho, double six suggestions. I mean, like I said, Kante's the best player maybe in terms of the three, but the chemistry's lacking. Do you know what I mean? With all the partnerships with Kante, and I feel like you need to partner Kante with a more physical Matic type player. We don't have that in the team, so it's just not there at the moment. Moving into the front three. I mean, for me, Mason Mount goes into the team for the sheer fact. Again, I feel like this is a player that is always on the verge of coming out of the team, and with the fan base, not with the coaches. Clearly, the coaches don't take this brother out. But since the Wolves game, he's been involved heavily. But he is that one attacking midfielder that we have that isn't really an attacking midfielder. Like, he can transition from playing in the half space and receiving the ball and turning, cool. But he's also really an 8, which means he can slot back into that midfield. A midfield that doesn't really have much mobility in Kovacic, in Jorginho, and he can slot back in there defensively and help us. I remember when Jorginho gave it away, I think against Newcastle.
The tracking back.
And got it back for us. And those are the kind of things that people don't realize. And when you put a Ziyech or a Pulisic or whatever, they can't really do it. Pulisic's not really available.
They don't think that way.
Anyway. Yeah, they don't think like that. And Pulisic's not really available anyway. He's got a calf problem. So just to remind you guys there, Ziyech has been out of the mix, but he's obviously an option. Kai, I would go with Mount, Werner, and I'd actually go Kai up top if he's available. I play Kai false 9. I think he's got all the ingredients to do it, man. He played it at Leverkusen. He's got the heading ability. He's got a bit of pace. Link-up play should be good because of the midfield aspects that he's played. The only thing he's lacking is when you receive the ball to be ready with the strength and make sure that you're quick with it and don't have a turnover. But I think the way that Tuchel likes to play, where his forwards can be quite fluid, Werner likes to operate in the left-hand channel. Havertz, on average, likes to be in the right channel. There's a balance there. And I think they've got a relationship with Germany. I'd like to see it tried, and I think this is the perfect game for it.
So you've literally taken the words out of my mouth, essentially. When Tuchel was kind of announced, I was thinking to myself, you know what, originally I thought, would we see the evolution of the 4-4-2 or the 4-2-2-2 that he did at PSG with these two up top? Yeah. And I feel like this is a good game. If you want to continue Werner's sort of confidence, you want to try and get Havertz in a good place, put them two, I wouldn't even say a false 9, well, depending, because it always shifts. Yeah. I would probably put them as a 2 and Mount in behind. And of course, that shifts in the shape and everything. But what it allows you to do is Havertz has got good aerial ability. He moves around a lot. Werner kind of vacates his position a lot to get involved. It then gives Havertz all of this space to sort of roam around and pick up the ball once Werner's gone. Yeah. And of course, given the opportunity, we can spin in behind these guys. If that means that Werner's going down the line, very similar to Giroud going, he pings it in, Havertz is there, or Mount's there, I reckon them three could work well together. And I feel like in terms of the games coming up, this is like with a game where you could really get Havertz up to speed. So I would go with like a Mount just behind and then them two as a 2, or just flex it as a 3. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, that's interesting.
100%. And what about you, Sam, bro?
I wasn't thinking that way because I didn't really think that Havertz was going to be. I knew he was going to be available, but I don't think he would start. I think it'll be brave of Tuchel to start him. So I'm just going to think like in terms of if he's just on the bench here. So I was going to say rest Mount and then put Ziyech in that right attacking mid area, Werner on the left, and then Giroud down the middle. And then with that, you kind of squash all those conversations firstly about if Ziyech's in his plans or whatever. Give Ziyech a chance in the Premier League as well to show me that you can actually play in this formation and play in it well, because what Mount's been doing, he's basically telling me that we don't really necessarily need you as much because the work that he does off the ball is incomparable to what you can do. Do you get what I'm saying? And because he loses the ball so much because of the type of player he is, he needs to have that work rate to win it back. 100%. Do you get what I'm saying? If he lost the ball and then he won it back in like the next 5 seconds, or you saw him in the press with 2 other players really going for it and not that like sluggish going for it, then people wouldn't really get onto him. But it's the fact that he loses the ball, then we don't win it, and then we're out of possession. If he adds that to his game, then I think he'll be successful. I also think Mount needs a rest because he's definitely going to start against Atletico. Werner needs goals because we need him to be on fire to go into that game. And Giroud he's just a safe bet. He's like like Aspie in the defense. Like, you know what you're going to get when he plays. He's going to work his heart off. He's going to try and challenge for every ball, and that type of defense as well. Like Mayowa said, they're not really in the greatest of places. If you give a Giroud and a few balls from the right or the left, just tell him to cause them issues, he'll get a goal or two. Like, do you get what I'm saying? He'll be in the right position to get a flick, to get a header. So I'd go with Ziyech, Giroud, and Werner.
And I remember when we played Southampton in the FA Cup, Giroud scored, and he did like a little mazy run in the box, and Hazard obviously tripped, slided it over to him, did a little jig, and then managed to stab it in. Bad boy goal, man. So Giroud might have a little bit of luck against Southampton, so maybe that might be a good way to go. And I get you with the Mason Mount rest, because that Atletico game is going to be massive, and he's definitely going to be needed against them. So it makes sense to rest him, and it would dead the Ziyech rumours. I think we spoke about Ziyech rumours last time, so I'm not going to address it too much, guys, because one, I don't know how valid the reports are, and 2, you know what I mean, we ain't got time. We ain't got time. So yeah, listen, listen. I said I'll try and keep it to an hour for the boys. There's actually a game about to kick off as well, which I'm gonna watch. I don't usually watch the under 23s. I can't lie to you. It's not something I religiously go ahead and do. I usually don't have the time, but they look like they're about to play Liverpool as well in Premier League 2. So I'm gonna check out and see what youngsters are playing as well. But before we go, boys, let them know what you got coming up, man. You man have been killing it in the game recently. Do you know what I mean? There's already been in the chat. Some of the guys obviously in the chat already know. They've been bigging you up in there as well. We'll start with you, Sam, as well for your doc, bro. Let them know what's going on in regards to that.
Yeah, man. Got a South London doc coming out tomorrow. It should be out between 10 and 12 on the Football Daily YouTube channel. Been working on that for like a few years now. Obviously, COVID affected the editorial and the post-production, so it's been a graft. So if everyone could, go on the Football Daily page, set your notifications, even if it's just for that video, I'd really appreciate it. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I want to get this to as many people, and it's something relevant, something that like South London ballers, their journeys, and also what can be done to help like the next gen as well in it. So I think that it's a good little documentary, and I'm proud of it. So hopefully you guys enjoy it as well.
100%, man. I grew up in South London myself, so I know a few South London guys like Joe Gomez, who was at Lewisham Youth, then went to Charlton, obviously got signed for Liverpool. So I'm excited to see just the guys that have been selected, I guess, for the doc. And Mayowa, bro, look at you, bro. Nominations, ones to watch, yeah? Come on.
Nominations on nominations.
Yeah,
I need to wear what you're wearing, fam.
Up there.
Sports Journalism Association Award nomination ones to watch. So yeah, no, it's interesting because kind of everyone that's there is from sort of like a BBC Sport, a Sky Sports. Hold tight, JD's there. But I'm kind of like from a small publisher, but it's good to be along that those sort of people and names, which is sick. But it's kind of testament to what's going on at the moment, where everyone now is really pushing beyond and breaking barriers and really doing good stuff. So it's not sort of people kind of look at me, it's like, well done to me, and it's like, yeah, that's great. Like obviously it's great to have that, but for me it's a representation of what's happened now, where finally our content is not being seen as, oh, it's just some YouTube thing. No, it's being respected, and like people looking at, like when I was looking at nominations, people are there with like actual shows on air, like red cameras, pristine. The stuff that I've kind of come there with is kind of microphone, Zoom. My hair was untidy. I was wearing a do-rag, so it's nice. But causing that sort of seismic shift. But in terms of what Sam is saying, like now, if you're watching now, I would say go over, click notifications on, click subscribe to Sam's thing, because making a documentary is a big thing. Like a lot of the time now, I know I'm going off tangent a bit, but people kind of see people as sort of front facing, whereas there's so many people that are doing sick things behind the camera. And for you to have your own thing that you said, you know what, I produced this, I part edited it, I narrated it, everything is sick. So everyone going to appreciate it. If you're watching this right now and you don't follow Matisse as well, go and make sure you're following.
Follow the man them. You know what I mean? Because we really, if you follow us, you will see a lot of football content, like Chelsea football and like maybe even other stuff. But yeah, man, this year, like it's gonna be a lot of content. It's gonna be a lot of content, man.
Even Matisse, what you're doing, like the amount of shows you're doing. Like,
it's crazy, bro. You're always on.
You gotta be in lockdown. You know what? Everybody's taking advantage of lockdown so well. Like I said, from the Pulisic interview that you've done to the documentary that's coming out tomorrow, which is going to be dope. Culture cams, I saw a big thing there. Do you know what I mean? Big up. That is again wearing the hat. Do you know what I mean? Keeping it on brand. You know what I'm saying?
Just being real though. I feel like there's a lot. There's like people don't realize like being in this industry, like the way the man are as well. Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in it and think that you have to kind of evolve. Like I had that era where I was thinking, how am I supposed to step into this thing? Because I don't really know in it. But then I realized that if they accept you for who you are, even if it's 200 or 300 people, that's enough. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you were real to yourself. And I think a lot of more people are seeing the fact that like Matisse, Mayowa, myself, like Coach, Cams, everyone, like they're being themselves and they're doing different things in it. So it's like, that is what's making me you know, it might get a bit teary, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
true, man, because everybody's doing their thing. It's great to see, whether it's, you know, Stop Pitch Time TV. I keep bigging you guys up. I love the show. You know what I mean? 360TV on Instagram as well. Always bigging up everyone's content. That really is the home. If I need to know what's going on in the community, I just go straight over there. I know they got some big stuff up. Do you see what I mean? Everything from Ravel Morrison coming on to Rio's show, and obviously I know Joel and that was great to see as well. On the Judy podcast, all of these guys, you know what I'm saying? The Beautiful Game podcast, I want to have them on soon. Everybody, man, is killing it right now. So big up to everybody, big up to yourselves. Make sure you follow the guys. The links are in the description for their Instagram, Twitter, YouTube channel. Sam uploaded the other day as well. I just saw it and I was like, hold on, I need to make sure the link is ready.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
The link is there.
We're trying, man. We're trying. It's Elevation 2020. What is it? 2021? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's mad, bro, honestly. So guys, make sure you're subscribed to Sam as well. He's building up that channel as well. I was subscribed, so I seen the channel. Of course I'll subscribe. I was like, people, I've just seen the upload. I was like, hold on a second. Yo, people, go over there, man. So the link is in the description. Do you know what I mean?
Gonna get you man involved as well. Anytime
you need me, let me know. And your editing, is that your editing?
Yeah.
Sick. I saw the intro on Instagram. I was like, yo. So people, check it out, man. Big up yourselves in the chat. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the review. It's a mad one, man. 12:30 kickoff, but hey, I'm not gonna lie, it's better than these 8 o'clock. So let's get out of the way. Hopefully, we bag the 3 points. W's only, people. And then the big Atletico game coming after that. Hopefully, we have some potentially another ESPN guest, but I'm not going to tell you who because I haven't secured it yet. But hopefully, and people, I'll let you know what's going on in terms of that. So in a bit, people, peace, and enjoy the game tomorrow as well. We'll see you afterwards.